I'm going to show you a new game for a regular deck of playing cards. You take out the face cards and the jokers, and the ace card is the lowest card in the deck. You begin by placing 4 cards down. This is the base row. So an ace, an 8, a 3, and a 2. Starting player picks up 7 cards. It's just a 2-player game. And this is what the player does. The player decides that they want to play a 7 on the 2 and a 5 in their starting row. 7 minus 5 is 2. You can add cards together or subtract them, and the higher number is placed on the base row and the lower numbers is placed lower down. The player picks up 2 cards. Okay, the other player is going to pick up 7 cards. Okay, they're going to play 4 on the 3 and an ace in their starting row. 4 minus 1 is 3, and they pick up 2 cards. Okay, I'm going to play a 10 on the 7 and a 3 on the 5. 10 subtract 3 is 7, and I pick up 2 cards. Okay, the other player is going to play a 10 on the 8 and a 2 in their starting row, and they pick up 2 cards. 10 subtract 2 is 8. Okay, I'm going to play an 8 on the 10 and a 2 in my starting row. 8 plus 2 is 10, and I pick up 2 cards. Okay, now he or she's going to play an 8 on the ace and a 7 in their starting row. 8 subtract 7 is 1. Okay, I'm going to play a 6 on my 10 and a 4 on the 3. 6 plus 4 is 10, and I pick up 2 cards. If you're unable to play, you simply discard 2 cards, and those cards aren't used again for this round, and then you pick up 2 more cards, and your turn is done. Now, eventually, there won't be any more cards in the playing pickup deck, but players can keep playing. They just can't pick up any more cards. When a player is unable to play, they're done for the round, but the other player might be able to play a few more turns. You have 7 cards in your hand, but the player might be able to bring it down to 1 remaining card. Now, the higher numbers played, remember, on the base row, and the lower numbers played lower down, unless the 2 numbers are the same number. So a 4 and a 4, 4 plus 4 makes an 8. Now this is how you add up your score. First of all, to get any score at all, you need to make sure that you have at least 4 cards in your starting row, the row next to the base row. So I'm just going to put more cards down randomly. So let's say I finished the round with these 13 cards. Since I have a starting row, or in other words played 4 columns, I qualify for points. So you first add up all your cards. So you know 10 plus 6 is 16, 18, 20, 29, so on. You add up all your cards, and then you look for any bonuses. You look for runs. Runs can be in rows as well as columns. So in my starting row, I have a 10, 2, ace, and a 5, no run. In the second row, I have a 6, 2, 5, and 3, no run. In the third row, I have a 9 and a 4. Fourth row, a 7 and a 6. Fifth row, an 8, so no runs there. In the columns, I don't have any runs either. So let's say I had a 4, 5, 6, and 10. I would have a run of 3. I get a bonus of 3. Let's say I had a 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. A run of 5. I would get a bonus of 5. If you had a 2, 3, 10, 5, even though you have a 2, if you have a 2, 3, 10, and 4, even though you have a 2, 3, 4, because it's split with the 10 is in between the 4 and the 2 and the 3, you don't get a bonus. Now it might be, I'll remove these 4 cards, it might be that in the second row you only have 3 cards. You might have a 3 space 4, 5. That counts for a run. So a space doesn't interrupt the run. But if there was a card here, it might interrupt the run. So if you had a 2, 10, 3, 4, then you don't have a run. But if you had a 2, blank, 3, 4, then you have a run. With the sets, they only work in the columns. So if you have, let's say, a 4, 5, 5, and a 10, you would have a set of 2, you get a bonus of 2. But let's say you had a 2, 5, 5, 5, 10. Because you have 3 5s, instead of them being worth a bonus of 3, you get the set number. So you would get the bonus of 5. So if you have 3 9s, you would get a bonus of 9. If you have 2 9s, you would only get a bonus of 2. And that's how the bonuses work. I hope I've been clear on that. And finally, on the starting row, if you can get a total of 15, that's called a Robusto. So I have a 10, 2, ace, and 5. That's not a Robusto. If you had, let's say, a 5, 3, 2, and a 5, that adds up to 15. You would get a Robusto. So players play 6 rounds, okay, six games. After each round, you add your score, and if a player got a Robusto, you put an R beside your score or a check mark, indicating they got a Robusto for that round. After the 6 rounds, if one player managed to get at least 2 more Robustos than their opponent, they win. You don't have to bother with the score. The player wins. If you got 3 Robustos and I got 1, you win. Let's say you got 3 Robustos and I got 2. Then we have to look to the score to see who won. And the player with the highest score wins. So to recap, you can add or subtract numbers. The highest numbers played on the base row and the lower numbers are played lower down. When you're done playing, you add up all the cards for your score and then you look for bonuses. A Robusto is the starting row that the 4 cards add up to 15. You get a Robusto, and if one player after 6 rounds or 6 games, 6 rounds of 6 games, if one player gets at least 2 more Robustos than their opponent, then they win. And you don't have to add up the score. But if you don't have at least 2 more Robustos than your opponent, then it's a player with the highest score. And I do believe that is everything. Hope you enjoy the game. Go to www.strugglergames.com.